we're an Under Armour school, as you can kind of see here.
Yep.
And we're one of the few out here in the Northwest. And so we had the opportunity when Under Armour wanted to do a photo shoot. Our sales rep came to us and said, "Hey, we need some athletes. We'd love to have some folks that come down and do a deal with us to do a photo shoot." And our quarterback / track athlete and a women's soccer athlete were selected. They went down for a couple days down to Portland and did a photo shoot. And now their image is in Under Armour retail shops all across North America and Central America. And so there's some of these really small things, and there's some things that are massive like that for some D3 schools like us, which is great.
I wanted to get around to that, man. I had that one waiting, and I'm glad that you just brought it up naturally. I love it. Like you took the freaking page out of my book. But that's so sweet, and it's surreal, I think. And when you look and just type in like a Google search, and you just type in, just doing my little research, like Pacific Lutheran NIL, and what's the first thing that pops up? Like 2 Lutes featured in Under Armour Photoshoot, and I'm like, wow, like really, like that's such a cool piece. And for those two, I believe one of the direct quotes was like, "This is one of the greatest experiences of my life as far as it comes to athletics." Obviously, there's other things outside. There's more to life than sports, but these experiences that they create for people too, I'm sure is another part of the puzzle that is just often shoved under the rug. Like the fact that they're able to go do these things while they're in college, being a full-time student athlete, and have these experiences is got to be such a cool piece for you guys. So yeah, how did that, you touched on it a little bit, but how did that come about? It was just a matter of representation, it sounds like.
Yeah. So like I said, our sales rep reached out and he said, "Hey, we're looking I'm going to put you in contact with the marketing folks from Under Armour. They're looking to do a shootout on the West Coast up there in Portland, and they'd love to use some of your athletes." And they said that they'd send along some of the qualifications, some of the things that they need to see. And so I sent out an email blast to all the student athletes saying, "Hey, here's what's going on. Here's what the needs are. Here's what you have to submit." And I think it was something like a couple different photos of them running or video of them running, and maybe some other aspects too, just so the Under Armour folks could kind of see what this person might look like and envision them in their ads. And yeah, those things got submitted. They submitted them directly. I don't have a role in that. All I can do is just say,
Okay.
"Here's an opportunity." I can't, not allowed to broker any deals, not allowed to work on any payments or anything like that. So I just said, "Here you go." And I didn't know what was going to happen. And then I found out a few weeks after that they selected the 2 folks, Kiana and Darius. And yeah, they were down there and had a blast. And I think Darius I think it may have led to a few other things for him after the fact. At least I think there were some conversations with maybe some other deals that might be spinning off of that. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it was a great opportunity for him and for both of them. And when we talk about small school opportunities, I guarantee most people don't think, "Oh, photo shoot with Under Armour," but we were fortunate to have that.
Absolutely not. And I think shining light on the selection process, that's what I really wanted to hear about. And I'm glad you covered it, because for an outsider, maybe you think, yeah, Under Armour says we need a male athlete and a female athlete, right? And what is the athletic department just looking to come together and, sitting in this conference room where you're at and say, all right, guys, who are our 2 most photogenic student athletes on this campus? Like, who do we think? And I would have loved to have seen the room just been like, man, like, well, there's, so-and-so here. Yeah. No. That criteria is very interesting for me. So it was either photos or videos of them running, or is it participating in their sport? Was there anything to that consideration? Any kind of certain parameters with their given sport?
So I think that their actual marketing line, what they were trying to do was about running. And
Okay.
so it was just, they needed some folks who were athletic, someone who had good running form, someone who just would look good doing that piece.
Interesting.
But they weren't necessarily saying we need a football athlete or a women's soccer. But they said we'll need to have somebody who runs as like a primary part of their sport. So we're not going to have any golf athletes for that one because they're not running around. So it was, okay, what are we talking about here? And I think actually we had this deeper conversation. It was soccer, basketball, track, football, cross country, those sort of things. We thought those ones had people in it that would primarily be running a lot during their sport, so they might have the best fortune finding somebody that they wanted to have in their shoot. So Yeah, so we put it out there and got what we got. So yeah, I'm never going to be in a room trying to figure out who's the most photogenic. That is
Damn
not
it.
a skill set.
It'd be a tough meeting, man. That'd be tough.
I know.
I love it. And that's just cool to see the kind of the criteria that goes into that. Obviously, I've worked with our marketing department here and some other outside freelance photo and video. So obviously working on the other side of that, I've seen what goes into trying to acquire talent and when you have certain parameters for those kind of things. But obviously, like, I've never worked for Under Armour's marketing team. I don't know what goes into those kind of meetings and those decisions. So it is interesting to see that. But to close it off, I mean, talk about the next steps for you guys. How does this platform continue to grow and evolve over there?
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a very competitive person. I always want to win in everything we do, and that means I want our athletes to win in the classroom, to win on the fields, win in NIL, and so we always want to make sure we're always on the front edge of the next thing down the road. And so I've keeping my eyes open, talking with our partners at Open Doors. They're offering some different pieces on their platform that we've been talking through about if it's something that we think we could take advantage of or not. We recently signed a brand licensing deal and kind of working through some avenues with that as well, that we'll be making, I think, an announcement here in the next few weeks about a really cool NIL opportunity for all of our student athletes. So when it comes down to it is, we believe what we're doing is to best support the entire student athlete experience. And if you don't do that in NIL, you're missing one of those facets. And so I encourage all my colleagues, get involved, do what you can to support your student athletes as you would in every other area. And that's just what we're doing too. And we're just trying to make sure we're paying attention and always looking for that next great thing.
Well said. Appreciate you coming on here, breaking it down. Answered all my questions, man. That was really neat and something that we haven't had a chance to talk about a lot. And by the way, I think you're the first AD to come on the show.
Wow.
Yeah, that's got to count for something. I don't know if that makes you feel any different or.
Well, I've set the bar at a certain level down here. So your next AD.
No. That's good. But no, I'm happy about that. It's good to get different perspectives. We hear from a lot of different coaches and players specifically, and to hear from someone who potentially is a little bit more detached from that scene, still talking about things that affect these athletes at every single level of whether it is football, which we obviously focus on a lot, or some of these other sports, both male and female. It's great to get the insight from you, Mike. So I appreciate you. Thank you very much, man. Have a good night. I appreciate you hopping on here.
Absolutely. Take care. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. See ya.